also have the simulation with following fishes, and before I get started I'm just going to show you how I set that up. It's kind of simple, so I didn't want to do it in front of you, but just going to go through it anyway. So here I have a agent with a bind pose, I have another agent with animation, and then I doing the trick that we did with snowmen. So I'm using a chop net and then reading from that chop net. Now I added this clip to this agent, and then I'm setting up a collision layer, and I'm setting up some joint limits, and then I'm creating all the fishes. They are in a sphere because I have this sphere here, and I did a volume and I put that into the crowd source, and then I do a randomize orient just through an attribute randomize, and I'm also randomizing a color, and then I'm setting the heading. And the reason I'm setting the heading, if I don't do that in this case, it will set the default heading and remove the orientation. So if you see, if I would do this and go to the first frame, you can see now they all are pointing in the same direction. So the only thing I'm doing in this node here, set heading, is that I take the orient, I convert it to a matrix, I take the up from the second row, and I take the heading from the third row. And then I'm setting the state, which would be ragdoll, and then I'm setting up my constraints, and then here in the simulation is a basic setup. So I have a multi-solver, I have a crowd solver, and yeah, just a basic setup. And yeah, you saw the result, it's just falling down. So what I want to show with this setup is to use a feature called Motor Ragdolls. And Motor Ragdolls lets you to be in ragdoll mode, but at the same time playing a clip. So let's see how that works. It's very straightforward. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go to the state, and I'm going to activate these motors here. And by default here I have group all, but you can also make your transformation groups and just have part of the rig be affected. So let's start there, and then we're going to need a clip to play. So I'm going to choose this flip clip, and if we play this, you can see that they are actually playing that clip. Even though they get affected by the physics, they are still playing the clip. And this is a very good feature to have. So let's see what options you have. You have the strength value, and you can set that as a constant, like we have now. It's just playing the same clip through the whole thing. Or you can set it as a ramp. That lets you tell you in time the strength of the clip. So we have this time range, 0 to 3 seconds. So here is 0, then it will play the max, and at 3 seconds it won't have play the clip at all because it will be at 0. So let's see how that will look. And in this case this will actually look kind of weird because all of them are activated in ragdoll at the same time, so it will fade out in exactly the same moment, as you can see. But yeah, you can see, you understand the effect it has. Pretty cool. If you have more complex things like horses and people, I think that can be good sometimes, is to start at 0 so you get that feel of a hit. So you start with a 0 so you can feel the hit. It's almost like taking the agent with surprise, and then it starts to recover, so then it starts to play the clip, and then it slowly fades out. Sometimes it obviously looks good just to have like a linear ramp like this too. But yeah, something to have in mind. So if we're going to go back to constant, we also have the correction time, and that is how fast it's going to try to recover from the clip boundaries after an impact. Yeah, and that's basically it. A very useful feature. I use it almost on all my ragdoll sims.